Imagine waking up on your birthday, turning your phone completely off, closing your door to the world, and not telling a single soul what day it is. When you picture that exact scenario, do you feel an aching sense of loneliness? Or do you feel a massive, overwhelming wave of relief? If your answer is relief, society will quickly slap a label on you. They will call you depressed. They will call you antisocial, difficult, or broken. But psychology tells a much darker, far more fascinating story about your mind. You aren't broken. You've just silently unlocked a level of emotional freedom that terrifies the people around you. Let's look at the hidden architecture of a birthday celebration. From the outside, the narrative is beautiful. It is a day dedicated entirely to celebrating your existence. But if you have a highly analytical or sensitive mind, your nervous system processes this event in a completely different way. For you, a birthday isn't a celebration. It is a mandatory, 24-hour psychological performance. And you are being forced onto a stage you never asked to stand on. Think about the immense emotional labor required of you on this one specific day. You have to perform surprise. You have to perform intense gratitude for gifts you likely do not want and will never use. You are expected to spend hours replying to 100 identical, copy-pasted text messages from people you haven't spoken to in years, people who only remembered you because an algorithm sent them a notification at 8 a.m. Psychologists refer to this exhausting behavior as expressive suppression or surface acting. It is the heavy cognitive tax of forcing your outward facial expressions and reactions to perfectly match what society demands, regardless of the emptiness or exhaustion you actually feel inside. Carl Jung, the legendary psychiatrist, wrote extensively about the persona, the artificial social mask we all wear to survive the expectations of the collective world. On your birthday, society violently demands that your mask be glued on tight. You are required to play the role of the joyous, grateful recipient. But you have reached a point of profound psychological fatigue. When you say, "It's just another day," you are not being cynical. You are simply saying, "I am too tired to act today." But the psychology goes even deeper, straight down into your early developmental survival mechanisms. Researchers studying the brain's reward centers focus on a powerful metric called reward prediction error. Your brain is an anticipation machine. It constantly calculates what you expect to happen versus what actually materializes in reality. When you were a child, you likely expected magic on your birthday. You expected the perfect cake, the absolute attention of your friends, and the undeniable feeling of being completely safe and loved. But what happens when reality repeatedly falls short of that towering expectation? What happens when a parent argues, a friend doesn't show up, or the day just feels hauntingly hollow? Your dopamine levels crash violently. The gap between what you hoped for and what you got creates a profound, invisible trauma. By treating your birthday like a random Tuesday, you have engineered a brilliant, bulletproof psychological shield. You are intentionally flattening your expectations to absolute zero. If no one remembers, you are perfectly fine, because that is exactly what you planned for. If someone surprises you, it registers as a pure, unexpected bonus. You have neutralized the day. You took a date that historically caused you pain or disappointment, and you stripped it of all its power over you. That is not pessimism. That is advanced nervous system regulation. Furthermore, we must look at the role of hypervigilance. If you grew up in a chaotic environment where you had to constantly read the room to keep the peace, your birthday was never actually about you. It was about managing everyone else. You had to make sure your parents felt like good parents. You had to make sure the guests were entertained. You spent the day monitoring the emotional temperature of the room. Treating the day like it doesn't exist is your way of finally taking off that heavy armor and giving yourself the one gift you've always craved, peace. If you are the kind of person who deliberately goes into your social media settings and deletes your birth date just to sit back in the silence and observe who actually remembers you on their own, you already know what to do. Drop a quiet like on this video. Leave a comment if you've ever felt the heavy exhaustion of forced celebrations. And subscribe to this channel. Let's keep exploring the brilliant, complex mind you've been hiding from the world. Here is the powerful psychological twist that shatters every assumption people have ever made about you. The crowd pities you. They look at your quiet, uncelebrated day and assume you lack self-worth. They believe that because you do not want a party, you must not value your own life. But the clinical truth is the exact opposite. You have cultivated something rare and unbreakable, a profound internal locus of evaluation. Most people are desperately trapped on what psychologists call the hedonic treadmill. They constantly outsource their identity and their happiness to the crowd. They desperately need 50 Facebook notifications, a loud, crowded restaurant, and a chorus of off-key singing to temporarily prove to themselves that they matter. Their self-worth is like a fragile subscription service that requires a loud, public renewal every 365 days. If the crowd doesn't clap for them, they feel like they don't exist. But you have bypassed this psychological trap completely. By treating your birthday like any other day, you are quietly declaring that your value is an absolute constant. It does not magically spike on an arbitrary date, and it does not vanish when the party is over. You do not need a piece of cake to illuminate your worth, and you don't need a calendar to give you permission to feel special. Your foundation is built internally, out of sight, where no one can touch it or take it away. You have also freed yourself from the existential terror of chronological time. For most people, birthdays are society's cruelest alarm clocks. They force individuals to face their aging process, triggering deep panic as they measure their life achievements against a ticking number. But you operate on a concept psychologists call subjective age. You measure your life by the depth of your thoughts, the difficult lessons you have survived, and the quiet peace you have constructed. You refuse to slice your life into 365-day performance reviews. Life for you is a continuous, unbroken flow. People who don't understand you will assume you are cold, dry, or incapable of deep affection. But the ultimate irony is that people who reject mandatory social rituals are often the most fiercely loving individuals in any group. You do not operate on an obligatory, calendar-based affection system. You do not wait until November to buy someone a gift just because society tells you to. You buy them a book on a random Thursday simply because it reminded you of them. You show up for your friends in the middle of the night when their world is falling apart, even if you forgot to send them a generic birthday text. Your love is completely spontaneous, deeply authentic, and completely unscripted. You offer the real thing, not the scheduled performance. So, the next time someone gives you that confused, pitying look when you say you are doing absolutely nothing to celebrate, do not shrink. You do not owe them a party, and you certainly do not owe them a performance. If your perfect day involves ordering takeout, turning off your phone, and going to sleep early in total silence, do it with absolute pride. You belong to a rare, quiet tribe of people who have found wholeness in the ordinary. While the rest of the world is busy trying to prove they are alive for just one single day, you are quietly mastering how to live every single day. And honestly, treating your birthday like it's just another Tuesday, well, that makes you wonder,